Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Drop Frames. Co, what episode are we on? Co, are you there?
7?
Co, I think his internet's going again.
What? Oh, come on. Are you messing with me? Oh, come on, man.
I was about to jump on it, JP. I was.
No, I saw just the blood drain from his face and just the pure frustration.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, I even look okay. Like, I'm not even pixelated. Like, am I looking at the right thing?
I feel bad. I actually feel bad. I saw your heart skip a beat. I saw the blood drain from you.
I need a minute.
Yeah. Oh, man. Sometimes I go over the line, you know, Zeke. I just take it too far.
Jesus.
Dude, listen. I completely understand how Co felt just now. Like, when I spent 8 hours on one day trying to make a game work and trying to make an audio crackle go away, and then my mods were funny enough to make an alert with that audio crackle in it. If you see the very first time that happened, it was the next day. I was like, all right, let's fire it up and see if it works. All right, half an hour into the game, like, everything's great. The sound is great. And then the alert comes on and goes, just hail, fear, like a splash of cold water in the face.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get it. I get it. I understand. I apologize. Co, what episode are we on, though?
I think 7.
Okay,
I think
good.
we're legit on 7 since the restart, I believe.
Glad to hear it. So yeah, internet issues are still a thing that plague the world.
Those who don't know, I was off all morning. Basically my net was down from 2 to 11:30, and the initial response is, of course, like, can't believe the internet provider using Spectrum. Rage, riot, fires.
Yeah.
But thankfully, what's really cool is I actually was driving around and I saw them working on the stuff. I actually talked to the guys that were nice enough to kind of pause and let me know what was going on. They fully replaced one of my nodes. So one of those boxes where the coax turns into fiber, I literally drove by as they had the old node on the ground and they were screwing in the new giant piece of equipment. So that was cool. They had to bring out a fiber consultant guy to get the fiber hooked back up. They were done with that at around 8 or around 9, and the internet wasn't on. And I was like, this is weird. Shouldn't everything be back on? And then sure enough, when I came around the corner near my house, there were then 4 trucks, and I didn't even know how this worked. But they actually had the fiber lines from the power lines off the lines and plugged into the back of this giant rectangular vehicle, which I later learned was apparently a fiber truck or whatever. And they were redoing fiber lines.
That's what they tell you, though. That's what they tell you, though. That's what the government wants you to think. They want you to think that they're out there trying to fix stuff, but no. Big Brother is watching. I'm telling you.
It's probably true.
He can watch all he wants. I'll strip for him. I don't care if my internet works.
Fix the internet. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'll put on a show for him. I know, right? Exactly. No, but so needless to say, obviously I'm pretty pissed I lost this morning because this was the big Metro DLC morning and stuff, and I was super excited to play it. But at the same time, the linemen that were working on this were super cool. I even got some names and stuff. When I pulled up the first time and they were working on the node, it was one of the guys that had worked at my house before. And I was like, hey man, do you have an ETA? And he goes, oh hey, we're doing this for you, man. We're out trying to get your net fixed. And I was like, okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So funny enough, even after everything, still problem. But getting this node replaced was taking out one of the biggest unknowns of the situation. And in addition to putting the node in, they put something in called traps all around the network that are constantly reading from those locations. So it should help. Now that the node is it's been fully replaced, and they have these traps so they can actually kind of like cell phone towers to get locations. They can tell where the problem is originating. So they said over the next 2 weeks, they're going to be monitoring these traps. They're going to be trying to figure out where the problem is, replacing what they need to. And I gotta say it's one of the first times that I can say with full confidence, I'm pretty sure they're doing all they can to fix the net, and
Yeah.
that's a good feeling. Because I mean, it's some of the hardest part about these internet problems I've been having the last 2 months is I really feel like I'm yelling into the void sometimes. Like just no one is listening, and I'm having problems, and no one's doing anything. I can safely say now they're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's always the
So-
worst part about it is you get mad at an internet company, but it's like you said, you're just yelling at the void. The second that you actually like meet someone from the company and you realize that they're just a human, you're like, ah, shit, I can't. Like, fuck. They're doing their best. They're just doing their job. Like,
I feel that happens a lot with Twitch as well.
oh yeah,
Like
sure.
Twitch is this big, like, faceless, nameless, like entity. Then you meet someone that works there, is like, we're really trying our best. And it's like,
Yeah.
you are a human. I hate it. I hate that you're a human and I have a face and a name. Damn it.
Yeah, totally. That's how it always goes. Unless you're stripping,
Also,
and then you just
shout out
get
to
mad.
Mr. M, who is Mr. Mustachio.
Oh, right,
as the
right.
internet, as the internet knows him. And a big thanks to Zeke, by the way, who hooked me up with this guy. But he has been the dude in the back end, like constantly pushing the ball along and checking on stuff and monitoring tickets. And like I told people, just in the off chance someone from Spectrum is watching, the reason I haven't gone to my attorney general and the reason I haven't submitted a BBB thing to Spectrum is because of Mr. M. So like that is they have one less strike on their record, thanks to that dude working at the company. So
There you go.
yeah, awesome.
There you go. Well, we'll check in next week for more Internet Watch 2020.
Right, I'll be super pissed. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah. It's still plaguing Strippin as well. Although he was at the hospital for 6 days because he didn't take care of himself. So that's a whole nother story. But his internet still sucks. So he could still just yell at the void, and unfortunately there's no person to talk to. Hopefully he gets that shit fixed. But yeah.
And now he's working on a different line, his large intestine,
Yes.
which hopefully he will get fixed up soon. We wish him the best and the best of vibes. I tell you, dude, he's a good example of when you're too much of a tank. Learn from Strippin, everyone out there. If you are having chronic problems that are not normal, just go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like an hour of your time that could save you literally days of pain and torment. Just do
We
it.
talked about this
I know.
yesterday.
I don't want to repeat yesterday's show, but Coat, do you know how much money he spent going to the hospital for 6 days?
Oh God, do I want how much?
$0. It's fucking free. You just go to the doctor and it's $0. Yeah.
What? I don't know if that's
Not legal.
Wait, where does he live?
I don't know. Not America. Apparently.
Not America. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, for some reason. Oh, that's right. He moved. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
in London.
Yeah, I was very confused.
Or
It's like if I go to the
DK.
doctor for 15 minutes, they charge me $50.
Yeah. If you got to see
So when I
someone,
heard
you better have
days, I was like,
$1,000 ready.
Is it $15 or $20,000?
Yeah.
Woo,
Oh
okay.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
We're good.
Anyways. Zeke, how are you doing? Everything healthy? Are you good over there? Internet line's good? It's good?
Man, I feel good. You know what? I'd wear I haven't had any problems. I moved here in November, haven't had a single hiccup or drop frame or anything like that. And I
Knock on wood.
feel like
Find some wood. Zeke, I'm knocking on this wood right here. My
I'm
desk.
knocking on my desk
God.
for you.
Yeah.
buddy.
I don't have anything that's wooden
Oh
in here.
my
Wait,
God,
I do.
you're
Yeah, I do. Hold on.
fucked.
I got it right here.
Okay, there you go. All right.
That's wood. Okay.
right.
Awesome.
No, I
Good
feel
job.
like since I haven't had a single issue since I moved out here, I feel like I want to wear a CenturyLink jersey. And be like, they're starting forward on their fucking co-op basketball
Talk to
team.
me about my internet.
Exactly. It's been fucking phenomenal. It's been great. I've had zero problems. And I'm used to
actually called
I'm
CenturyLink.
used to what you have, Co. Because I had Spectrum. And every 4 or 5 months, it would start doing this
Yeah.
drop below streaming level and shit like that. And I'd have technicians. I was like, oh, well, I think we got it. We did this. You didn't get it. Can you send someone else? Oh, we got it this time. We did this. And I'm like, you didn't get the thing. I don't know.
That's how it
You
goes.
just get because it's car trouble and like internet troubles, you feel so helpless because I don't know enough about them.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst. Anyways, let's stop talking about our problems. Let's start talking about games. We'll start with actual what we've been playing and then jump into some news. Probably be a shorter show today, most likely around 2 hours. But we'll see where we end up. Code, did you finish Wasteland?
No. I'm about 50% through it, but the Exodus stuff came out. And I did a sponsor stream with those guys. And I'm kind of wanting to get the Exodus DLC kind of done, so then I can go back to Wasteland. And then I'm doing some a first look, another sponsored thing actually with Wolcen tomorrow, checking out the ARPG Wolcen.
Oh,
and after,
I'm curious about that.
Yeah, me too, dude. That's actually why I took the sponsorship, because they asked me about the game. They're like, "Hey, this dev reached out and wanted to know if you'd want to do a sponsored stream," and this was about Wolcen. It was a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Wolcen? Never heard of that game." And they showed me a little video. And I was watching it for about a minute and a half, and I was just like, oh, damn. I just paused the video, went back. I was like, I am interested.
Yeah, I think, who was it?
Oh, yeah. And I'm hearing good things about it, too.
Yeah, I think it was Ziggy was playing it yesterday and spoke highly of it. Was this the trailer you watched or the video you watched? This came out today. Their release trailer.
No. I watched the one from 2 weeks ago. I think it was like a little preview thing. Oh, this is a new one, though?
Yeah, it just came out today. It's their release trailer for it. Everyone's saying it looks like 40K.
So Warhammer.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. It looks pretty
At least
good.
that part does.
It looks more story driven.
It's pretty customizable. It's loot like, Diablo PoE style looting, and there's lots of variants in how you can play. I'm very interested in like checking out the classes, and it's also, from what I understand, like kind of more actiony. Like there's a little bit more like dodging and having to get out of AoEs and stuff more regularly and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I don't know what class I'm gonna play or anything yet, but to checking it out.
Yeah, I really wonder, like, did they say when they pitched it to you, is it more story driven or is it supposed to be like a Path of Exile type deal?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. Whenever I take a deal like this, like there's two different types of sponsored streams I take. Either a game that I know I'm gonna like, or that I'm already planning on playing, like the Metro one I did yesterday, or a game that I really want to kind of like check out for the first time on stream, like Wolcen. So what I actually request is when I accept the sponsorship, at that point, I want to know nothing more. Like at that point, like it is blind. Got my blinders on until I do the stream. So I can kind of see it all on stream. So I know very little about the game outside of what I've seen in that first couple minutes of the preview.
Dang, it looks pretty good. They're showing a lot of different skills that I haven't seen before. And it looks pretty too.
Oh, Black Ghost in my chat says story-driven, full VA, 3-act campaign.
3 acts?
And a classic system.
Huh.
Okay.
Now those are words I like. I love those words.
Yeah. Those are interesting.
Okay, am I just wishful thinking here? But does the character model look bigger than most like CRPGs?
Sure.
Let me look.
Maybe I'm just.
It looks zoomed out to me more so than PoE. Like that one's much bigger. Whatever that is.
But I think that's like some kind of special mode. That looks badass.
Right.
Holy shit! Look at that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely like zoomed out more.
Like it feels like I can see more of what's going on.
Yeah.
Than I could in like PoE or something like that.
100%.
PoE is also notorious for being kind of like zoomed in, Diablo 2 style. So
okay.
Yeah. This one is much more kind of like lets you see the whole battlefield.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's what it is.
Also, not to sell out too much, but I think today's the last day you can get this for $30, and then tomorrow, since it's out, it's $40. I think is what people in chat were saying. Because like it's on their early access price today, and it's becoming more expensive tomorrow by $10. I think so. This is on Steam, at least from what I've been watching. So,
but it has its full release tomorrow. Is that what you're? Oh yeah, 2/13. There it is.
Yeah. I might have checked that out. Wasteland 2 is going all right though. That's just. Did you finish your first playthrough of Wasteland 2?
No, I actually have started Wasteland 2 2 different times. The first time I got about 20 hours in, and the second time I got about 35, 40 hours in. And both times I had like other games come up or other projects that kind of made me put it on hold, and then I just never returned to it. So this last jaunt into Wasteland 2, this is my playthrough. I am definitely going to finish it because Wasteland 3 is in May. So I want to get like a full Wasteland 2 done. I gotta say, man, you know, as the first time that I've kind of gone in dedicated to finish this game, Wasteland 2 is pretty freaking great. It's got some awesome humor. The mechanics are fun. Tons of customization. Like there's the skills that your characters used are used everywhere. So it's the kind of thing where almost nothing is useless. Although there are a couple dump stats, but that's for later. Very cool mechanics. The world is top notch. Like it's basically a I want to say it's actually a little bit more of it's more of like a realistic Fallout. Like where Fallout has the post-apocalyptic with the alternate history of like fusion cars and you know like all that stuff. Like Wasteland is much more of a post-apocalyptic future in our world. So, you know, you're not you like there are some crazy energy weapons and robots and things like that, but not nearly to the degree of a Fallout world. So it has a little bit more of kind of like a grounded feel to it. Also, 7 party members and additional NPCs. So, like right now, in my game, I think I'm trucking around a party of 11. It's like a small army.
Jesus.
And most importantly, the thing I'm really digging about it, lots and lots of choice, lots of different ways to handle situations. I mean, at the very beginning of the game, you're given like 2 different areas you need to go to, and depending on which one you go to, the other one essentially dies. And these are like major areas in the game. So yeah, I'm having a great time with it so far. I'm really enjoying the playthrough. It's just been great. I can't wait to get back to it.
Zeke, what are you squinting at?
I played Wolcen. I did. I
Okay.
well, I went to look it up to see, like, just to look at the store page on Steam and stuff. Sorry for it. I didn't want to.
No, that was my. I should have called on this.
I played it 3 years ago.
Oh,
Like, I didn't know it had been in early access that long.
Whoa.
I think it's changed a lot. I think they actually like changed everything about the game from what you.
Oh
played.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure. That's why I probably didn't fucking remember it,
Yeah.
because it looked like 3 years ago there was some semi jank to it, like
Yeah.
visually,
I've heard
graphically,
it's
and stuff
changed
like that.
completely, and a lot like
Yeah.
some
In
of the
fact,
older
people-
fans are upset about that. But
People in chat are saying it changed so much they even changed the name. Like it used to be called Umbra.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, like that's cool. In fact, if anything, Zeke, that makes me want to see you play it even more. So you can kind of like be like, you know, maybe it's gonna be
Yeah.
memorable now. Maybe it's gonna be awesome. Like that'd be fun.
Well,
That'd be fun.
I just did the video search for it, and it was still called Wolcen, I guess, back then, because the
Early
stream
changed in
title was
2016.
Wolcen Lords of Mayhem. But
Yeah.
yeah, I had no idea it was in production for that long. Jesus.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Sorry.
Wow.
Please continue talking about the other game that you were Wasteland.
Totally,
please.
Totally fine. Actually, I'm pretty much done with Wasteland 2. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's getting me even more hyped for Wasteland 3. Like seeing the quality in 2 and knowing that 3 is kind of like everything they learned from 2 and more. It's definitely making me even more hyped for that.
I do have one question. I tried to find some combat here. I think I finally found some. You mentioned that gets up. You have 11 people in your party. Is combat just long as hell, or like how? What is that?
Not really. Things go pretty quick in combat. It is turn based, but anytime it goes to an end, like there's 7 main characters that there's 4 main characters, and those have like full inventory, full skills,
Okay.
and then you get 3 NPCs, and those are people that get like reduced inventory slots and generally come with some starting skills and starting stats, and they have like backstories and things like that. And then you have like buddies, I guess you'd call them. And there are people that you don't control in combat. They just have a turn. They just kind of go and they do their thing, and it goes pretty quick. It is turn based, but at the same time, like a lot of your turn is like, okay, it's this guy's turn. Okay, what's the percentage shot? Fire, fire. Okay, next guy's turn. You know, like it's pretty quick.
Gotcha. Do you know how much they're changing between this and Wasteland 3, or have they not even put that many details out yet about Wasteland 3?
We don't really know. Like, there's a little bit of confusion with Wasteland 3 because remember they had that kind of confusing opening marketing thing.
Yeah,
where like they were kind
theme.
of marketing it as this kind of like humor, fun, just combat game, and then they came back later with a much deeper, more Wasteland 2 looking thing on that side. So I honestly don't really know what to expect from Wasteland 3. The only thing I know for sure is Brian Fargo says if you liked Wasteland 2, you'll love Wasteland 3.
Brian Fargo is
So-
the head of In Exile.
Brian Fargo's the big creator. Yeah, he is like the head honcho at In Exile, the maker of this game. He's the guy that's been there for like 30 years.
Yeah.
He
Rather
worked on the
prolific
original
name.
Wasteland 2. Mhm.
Yeah.
Kind of the big kahuna in that regard.
Cool. Wasteland 3 is coming out May 19th, so I would assume we might start seeing
Also-
some more soon.
Interesting little side note here. Wasteland 1, which is like a 20-plus-year-old game is essentially what they're getting. They're calling it a remaster, but it's essentially a reboot because they're bringing that game into the current day and they are re-releasing Wasteland, basically fully updated at the end of this month.
Ah, okay. You gonna check that out, or you?
I think I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those
It's gonna, my sponsor GOG is doing like a big thing for it. So
they're
I'll probably
pretty
do some stuff.
long games, right? Like 40, 50 hours or longer than that.
Wasteland 2 is I've been told it's going to take me anywhere between 60 and 80 plus hours.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a big game. That's a big game. Well, cool.
How old is this game? Sorry.
Wasteland 2 is only
3
years old. I want to say maybe 3 or 4. Yeah, it's got a director's cut. So it's got like its own big kind of cumulative fixes and updates edition. Yes, Cat's saying 5 or 6 years. Man,
wait, really?
Flies, doesn't it? Yeah.
Wait, when it was, because I remember that game came out when I was doing 8 bits with DJ Wheat, which was like the precursor to Drop Frames. But was that really 6 years ago?
Sounds like it, man. Sounds like it. 2014.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Damn. Woo. I tell you, man.
I'm past that. I needed a second.
You've said this already, I'm sure, Co, but the reason you're playing it is because the director's cut just came out, or
no? The reason I'm playing it is to get ready for Wasteland 3. I like Wasteland 2.
Oh, right.
Kicked off all of the boxes of a game I'd like. CRPG. It's post-apocalyptic. It's got a decent amount of voice acting. Like it's one of those things where it's kind of surprising I haven't done a full playthrough or 2 by now. So it's just one of those things where it's February, Wasteland 3 is coming out soon. Like, it's time, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, Wasteland 2, I think, was one of the original like successful Kickstarter stories as well, or Kickstarter games, I should say. Like one of the real OGs of it. I forget how much it actually raised and all that, but yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Did they kickstart the third one, or is it all in-house?
Yes, Wasteland 3 is actually it's on a service called Fig.
Oh, it's on
which
Fig.
Is a little bit less kickstart and a little bit more invest.
Yeah.
Actually, the best way to say that is a little bit less donate, a little bit more invest.
Yeah. I guess we'll use.
I am a big backer of Wasteland 3.
Gotcha. We'll use this opportunity next week. I think we're gonna have the head of games from Kickstarter on the show to kind of talk about Kickstarter and the role of Kickstarter in the gaming world and stuff like that. So probably be on for about an hour, I believe, next week. We'll confirm with that between now and then and get it posted.
That'll be good timing because the Owlcat KS should be coming to a close around that time too. They just passed 1 million today.
Didn't they just start that though, like a week ago?
Like a week ago.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Their stretch goals are also looking really sexy for Pathfinder fans.
I saw the one with the new race where like fans get to choose at the end. Have they already done many more than that?
They have the new race. They have new archetypes they're adding. They're adding like a swarm that walks army archetype. So you can basically just be like a swarm of insects and your army is just like different extensions of yourself. They're adding in a new type of animal companion that can level up. You can equip and spec as you want to, like all sorts of stuff, man. Mounted combat. They're adding a cavalier class that specializes in mounted combat. Just tons and tons of cool little things, man. It just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, that's a lot. Zeke, I was taking a look at your past videos.
All training class. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I was taking a look at your past videos. You took a little bit of a vacation, so you haven't played much since last week. However, I have to ask. I know you're doing 4 days of Indie Sunday coming up, so promote that if you want to. But you tweeted out some stuff about a certain game that I know about because I've played multiple times. I haven't played the golden version. Yeah, when is this starting? I even texted you about this. It was like, hey, when are you playing this game? Because I want to see the intro. I got to see it. So when is it starting?
When is it starting?
It's a PS Now or PS TV. PS TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's PS Vita for your. It basically turns it into console.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. When am I starting the Persona 4?
Well, when is your channel going to be playing Persona for about a month?
Yeah. It's probably starting like a week from tomorrow, like next Thursday.
Okay.
So the 20th.
Okay.
And then the 20th until question mark.
That game is long. And they added a lot in Golden as well. I've not played Golden. I've only played the base game I don't even, it's been years since I've played it, so I don't remember too much. But some would say better than Persona 5. And
There's a lot of people who prefer Persona 4 to Persona 5.
Yeah.
But inevitably, no matter which game you play, they're going to ask like, "Oh, are you going to play this one next? Are you going to play that?" It's like, yes, I'm going to play all of them, a franchise playthrough, and it's going to take up 2021.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. I might finish Witcher 3
entire
by then,
year.
actually. Maybe we'll finally sync up on something else.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. My personal favorite is Persona 3, but it's only because of how, when you summon the Personas in Persona 3, the kids shoot themselves in the head. And I think that's a interesting way for them to like play the game. Cause that's what the whole story is based on, is just a bunch of high schoolers putting a magical gun to their head and pulling the trigger. And it's weird as shit. So I don't know if you'll ever get to that, but also, actually, I was going to say a super spoiler. Never mind. There's stuff that happens towards the end of that game that I enjoyed more than Persona 4 and Persona 5, from what I know. I haven't played all of Persona 5, but yeah. If people know what Fez is, then they know what I'm talking about in that regard.
Oh, Fez?
Yeah.
The game Fez?
No, the Persona 3's
okay.
expansion or redo or whatever.
Okay.
I don't even know what you want to call it. It's called Persona 3 Fez. F-E-S, I think. Might be F-E-Z. Anyways.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get back into this. Like, I don't remember the last time I played a game that took like multiple weeks to finish. I think it was the last time I was Persona 5, probably. I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned Witcher 3. I got to this point in Witcher 3, I'm like, guys, we're close, right? Like, we're real close. They're like, dude, you're like 50% of the way through. And I'm like 70 hours logged in the fucking main game.
Hey guys, when did JP become a comedian?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's yeah.
But I'll tell you what.
I was working.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We've talked about this before, but like one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to is like waking up going like, oh, taking for granted that I already like the game.
Yeah.
Just waking up going like, I don't have to think about what I'm doing today. I'm gonna play Persona, and that's gonna be like
it is
3
nice.
weeks at least.
Yeah, it's especially in like this drought.
MMO, man. Oh, God.
So yeah,
I love that.
It's funny you mentioned that. I actually got back. I didn't play Final Fantasy for like 2 months, and now I've got back in the kick of it. So like every night, I'll finish the stream, I go get dinner, say hi to Aaron for 5 minutes, and then I'm back in the computer chair playing Final Fantasy. So yeah, I've got.
Dude. I've had this fiending going on for a year or two now. Like the next MMO that actually comes along that can handle multi-month commitment, I'm just gonna get lost in that. My channel's gonna die. Everyone's gonna leave me. Like it's all I'm gonna play for 10 hours a day. I can't wait.
I was in that. I felt like I was in that position for about 5 years of like chasing the white dragon, so to speak, like trying to find that next fix. And luckily, for whatever reason, 14 was what hooked me. But I get it. I understand what it's like.
I wonder.
What's fun about Twitch is I get to do that scene from Half Baked right before I like get lost in the MMO, where I just walk into my channel. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm just gonna be playing this MMO for like 3 to 4 months, man. This is the trip. This is the journey. Who's coming with?
Yeah.
Like, oh, and there goes the internet. But no, I'm seriously just gonna like take as many people as I can, and we're just gonna just go live in this other world for months to hopefully longer.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's gonna be fun.
You know, when the first thing that happens, sorry to cut you off, but the first thing that happens when Ko finds a suitor here at Twitch, whoever offers him the big deal, it's when he starts playing MMOs full time. He just goes in, he's like, all right. Yep. I've got a servant over there. Feed me my pizza. I'm ready.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for watching.
That's how it's gonna be. That's how it's gonna be. Anyways, Zeke, I cut you off. I apologize.
No, it's all right. I just wonder if that's what like primarily single game streamers feel like when they wake up every day.
In what sense?
They're just like, I know what I'm going to do today. No worries, man. I feel good. I'm gonna play some fucking Tarkov and play some WoW.
I feel like it's the opposite,
whatever.
man.
The problem with that though,
Mm.
like it's an interesting situation for single game streamers, and I've talked to many of them over the years, and it all depends on one thing: how much are you enjoying your single game at the time?
Yeah.
Because see, what generally happens with single game streamers is there's this line, and they can generally stay above it, and that's cool, and they can stay above it for months or even years. But every so often, they cross that line, and it's that first day they get up and walk to their stream, and they're like, I don't know if I really want to play Fortnite today.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really want to play Escape from Tarkov today. And it's like, when you get to that point, all of a sudden, like being a single game streamer up until that point was awesome and great for the channel and fun. And then all of a sudden, being a single game streamer becomes an albatross around your neck.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh.
Well, the grass is always greener, right? Like, it's just, it's the nature of, I think, life in general.
Yep.
But look, some single game streamers have broken out of kind of that mold. Like Moon, for example, with Overwatch, he was able to kind of divert into other games. He's doing just fine, if not better.
Sacriel is a great example of a single game streamer that moves around. So he'll be like a single game streamer in a game until he gets tired of it, and then the second he gets tired of it, he starts threading in variety, and then he moves to the next game that is interesting to him. So and that's something that works really well for streamers that play that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
You probably get, because since we're all like mostly variety, you probably have you gotten like single game streamers tell you like, man, variety, like I've had this happen. Variety is the way to go, man.
Oh yeah.
It's so hard to transition. Like I'm trying to like pepper in other games, and it's like they don't come to my channel for that, and it's rough.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Yeah. Grass is always greener for sure.
Exactly.
Waking up going, I know what I'm gonna play, but also like, oh, I know what I'm gonna play.
Right. Yeah.
That's one of the beautiful things about being variety, because you can like just geek out on games for as long as they last, and then when the game is done, it's like cool, on to the next thing. Like with Wasteland 2, like I'm in it for like 80 to 100 hours, and then it's like, okay, on to the next project, let's go. So that's really nice. That's a very nice point.
It's true. And far as what I've been playing, mostly Witcher 3, like I said. I did do a sponsored stream yesterday for Division. They've got some new stuff coming out in
How did that
March.
go?
Well, the actual sponsored stream was a little awkward. I unfortunately couldn't get it added to my account, so I sat there and watched a Q&A for 2 hours. Me and Bike Man, who's in the chat, kind of just watched a Q&A after a announcement stream. But then at the end of it, I jumped back into Division 2 to like refresh myself on what that game is. It's still fun. It's like, I mean, I hate comparing the two, but it's a different Destiny, right? Like they're of the same ilk, right? So it scratched that itch because I haven't played Destiny in a while. The unfortunate thing is that it comes out at the beginning of March when literally everything else does. So I don't know if I have enough time to spread myself across that many games, especially with Ori and Neo right at the beginning of March. So.
And it's kind of unfortunate because in a game like Division, that's one of those games you can just dump hours and hours into. So to put a game like that at the beginning of a release season seems kind of backwards. Like if anything, you'd want to do that at the end. It's like people are getting done with the games that they were waiting for. They're getting tired of the stuff they're playing. It's like, cool, now I can play Division and just dump hundreds of hours into that. But it's like at the beginning, a lot of people are probably going to play it for a little bit and then play all the releases they want to.
Yeah.
And then kind of forget about it.
Yep.
Or lose their drive. The fire will go out.
I will say that it was interesting streaming that game because I hadn't streamed it since it launched, or hadn't played it rather, since it launched like 9 months or 10 months ago or something like that last year. There were a lot of people in the chat that actually, like, I'm sure this is a silly thing. I didn't realize there was diehard Division fans, people with like hundreds and hundreds of hours. And so I was watching their reaction to see if it is exciting for the stuff that was being announced, because they would say something and, well, chat, what does that mean? What is that? What did they just announce? And everyone seemed really excited about it. So it seems like they're making the right changes for what they announced yesterday. They're going back to New York for those that didn't see that stuff, which is where the Division 1 was, and kind of finishing the story from Division 1 because the big bad that kind of was nowhere to be found at the beginning of Division 2 or throughout Division 2 thus far is finally back. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. It made me want to play more, which I guess is a good thing for sponsored streams. A good feeling to have, so you don't just feel super sell-outy while you're doing it. Yeah. And then, like I said, just more Witcher 3. The part that I got to was, I think I could say the word Uma, and people will understand what part that is. In Kyre.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's also a different thing. That shows your age right there. Is what that does. Yeah, so I'm at that point, which I thought was further along.
Fuck, that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know? You didn't know the reference?
It took me a second.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm jumping back into Anno 1800 tonight to play with Gassy. We're gonna try they put in some new stuff a while back, and I've always just had this weird itch to play more Anno. But they have co-op, but you play one like faction instead of 2-player multiplayer, where you control 2 factions. So it's either going to be really good or me and Max aren't going to talk to each other after tonight. One of those things will be, maybe both of those could be true. But we'll see how it goes. They've added a ton of stuff. Like an entire new region. I think you can go to the Arctic now. They have some sunken, like underwater stuff. I don't know. They've had, I think there's 3 DLCs for it. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, that's kind of the plan for me. Ko, you played some other games. I want to talk a little bit about your experience because I know a decent amount about it, but you played some GTFO.
Oh, I did. Yeah. So I played.
Yeah,
with,
I want to hear about this.
I played with Anthony, Elohim, and Sacriel. And Sacriel pinged me at the end of last week and was like, "Hey, would you be interested in playing some GTFO?" And I was like, "Oh, do you have a sponsored thing coming up? And do you want me to jump in for that?" And he goes, "No, it just actually looks really cool, and I'm finding a group to play it, and I want to know if you wanted to join." And I said, "Well, hell yeah!" So we got the team together. Started Sunday afternoon. Got a nice, I think, about 4-hour block in. This game is cool.
Yeah.
So basically the way that it works is it's slight procedural generation. You have a full loadout involving like a special weapon, main weapon, and a tool and things of that nature. You are prisoners that get dropped into this like underground lab layer kind of SCP-like thing, and you're dealing with all these malformed human creatures. And the premise is basically you have a goal, and you have to kind of work your way to the goal. And then once you get to the goal, you generally have to then GTFO by getting out while the entire level tries to attack. So it's got some really fun features though, like the security gates, which are kind of like mini horde modes. There's these computer terminals that actually take code where you have to like query for items they're looking for and ping them, and they'll give you the zone name, and then you have to go to the zone and ping it again to have it pop up on everyone's map. The map is super interactive and interesting. It's got some really cool elements. What's also really fun is if you see there, I'm the guy in the bottom left. I have a bio tracker. So the way that the game works is you generally you go through the area at first kind of stealthy because nothing can really see and everything kind of stays still outside of roamers. So, and everything's almost pitch black. So I would have this bio tracker, and I could see where enemies were, but I couldn't hold a weapon when I was doing it. So I would be like calling out enemies while the other 3 guys would like sneak around with these hammers. And we kind of like try to clear out areas as silently as we could. But of course, we'd mess that up all the time. Then we'd have to fall back with our weapons and like deal with hordes of enemies as we were trying to deal with that. But not only is it difficult, it takes a lot of coordination. It's really interesting and actually pretty well made. And we actually decided when we were done last week, we're like, all free next Sunday too? Cool. We're getting together again and playing again. So yeah. Really, really an interesting, unique, fun co-op experience. I thought it was just going to be like another Left 4 Dead. Ended up playing nothing like it.
Yeah. It
is very much its own unique thing.
I've watched a pretty decent amount of this, only because 5 seconds of watching the actual game, I knew I would never play it myself. Because it's
pretty horrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty horrifying. You haven't really seen it yet because the stuff we've seen is pretty action oriented, but it's one of those games where I don't want to show too much and talk about the specifics too much because that's part of the fun is trying to figure out how to deal with everything. And if you know how to deal with everything, it becomes rather formulaic because you just go and do that. But watching people figure that stuff out and fail is pretty fun. I had a good time watching. I think I was watching Lyric and the Night Stream crew with Waffle and Shorty to do that type of stuff. But yeah, I don't know how much we want to show here. Really go into what's actually happening. But you can see right there, it's a little alien-esque with the little radar thing.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
alien
Oh,
isolation
shit.
in many ways.
Yeah.
Actually, like there's even like some hiding and stuff that you do later in the game. But yeah, it's very interesting because like when we first started, we weren't doing it stealthy at all.
Yeah, this is
We
not
would
how
just,
you
like,
play the game.
Yeah, we were just entering areas and like, hey, there's an enemy, let's shoot him. And then every enemy in the area would then aggro on us, and we were running out of ammo, and we were like, what the hell? Like, this game is weird. Like, how are you even supposed to do anything? Then we kind of, started to kind of come up with ideas and different ways to play the game and kind of work through it. But honestly, kind of like you just mentioned, if you have a group of friends you're interested in playing this game with, then at this point I need to stop talking because
Yeah.
a lot of the fun is kind of figuring it out and coming up with your own ways of dealing with the challenges and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, is as far as customization goes for play styles and stuff, is there any like in your face melee kind of a person, like for someone who might not be that good at shooting stuff?
Everyone does have a melee weapon, and melee is a big part of the game.
Okay.
Also, you get like a main weapon, a special weapon, and a tool. As somebody who is also in the boat of not having the best aim on Twitch, there is a really good like automatic base weapon, and then I was using shotguns. The shotguns are actually really powerful and pretty easy to aim and deal with. So I think
word to use for me.
You could have a lot of fun in this game for sure.
Okay.
This would be a fun game for you, especially like with your mods or something like that over comms and everything.
Yeah, from watching, again, I haven't played it, but from watching, like, communication trumps almost everything in this game in terms of like aiming and skill and all that type of stuff. Because it's really like, all right, you go take those out. I'm going to deal with this. And the way that you're doing that is by like Ko said, you're sneaking up, you're hitting with a melee weapon. Because if you're firing a gun, then shit's gone bad. Like that, if you're firing a gun, that's bad. It's not a shooter, like so to speak.
For this part right here, it got to the point where every time the team would come up, this is towards the end of the stream, once we kind of started finding our flow. And I'm going to hold my hand up for this. If you do want to figure this out for yourself, go ahead and mute until I put my hand down.
What about?
For us, finding our flow would basically be me going up to a door like I am now. I would then call out for the rest of the team. Okay, we have 2 directly in front of us. There's 2 more to the right. Behind them on the left, there's 2 more. And then right when the door would open, Sakura and Anthony would go with Ellen behind, and they would like go out in the near pitch black and like take out the 2 in front of us. And then we kind of reorient, and I'd be like, okay, 2 more ahead. There's a group of 3 to the left. We have a roamer on the right. Let me mark him real quick with the marker. Okay, cool. So it was almost kind of like we were really coordinating the entire playthrough. And by the end, we definitely had like a pretty good flow down. We actually ended up beating the tutorial mission towards the end. And yeah, it was really cool. I'm looking forward to trying more with them.
Yeah. The mission structure too changes. Like you're not doing the same thing every single mission, at least from what I've seen. And if you've played The Last of Us and you remember the clickers and how quiet the gameplay was around the clickers and the obnoxious noise and sometimes terrifying noise that they make, they kind of do that same effect with this, and the noises actually are important, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
So you have to sit there and listen to creepy shit, and that's like your go signal, right? That's when you have to like, yeah, it's fucked up.
And just a little bit of a divulging an enemy, but I think it's worth saying because of how awesome it is. The enemies in this game are basically kind of like they're kind of blind, but they can hear really well, and they'll kind of flash if you get near, so you know to freeze. But one of the enemies that walks around, one of the few enemies that we found that walks around, his head is full of tentacles. And what he'll do is he'll stop, and then like all these tentacles come out of his head and start snaking all over his area. And if you're within range of those tentacles, then you get discovered. So it's like he'll just kind of sit there and start like doing these weird motions, and these tentacles like all out of his head in all these different directions. It is like it's
pretty gnarly.
It's creepy. It is some creepy stuff. And there's multiple enemies like that. The enemies are very unique in this game. I don't know what the lore is behind them. I'm actually hoping the game touches it. I'm kind of interested to know what the hell's going on in this game. But yeah, the enemies are very
someone was asking if there's voice over IP in the game. Do you know if it has built-in VoIP?
We use Discord, so
okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'm not.
For a game that kind of demands that type of communication, I would hope so, but I'm not sure.
Unsure. Apparently, it is still being worked on. It is not done at this point. There's a pretty good selection of weapons. You can see those boxes on the right. There's like 4 to 6 options per box, so there's a pretty good amount of stuff in there. But from what I understand, there is more coming as well, and things like that.
Yeah.
How important is party composition? Do you need like front, like tank, healer, support shit?
It certainly helps to have somebody with like a bio tracker, like I was playing. There's also a glue gun tool that's extremely useful because you can use like the glue gun to like lock doors closed. So before you
Okay.
trigger a security alarm, which is like a mini horde mode, you can like lock a door closed so then they're only coming from one direction, set your turrets up that way. So there are strategy elements. But in terms of like what you need, it kind of depends on how your party decides to conquer the different mechanisms and challenges that you have to get through, and a little bit less about what you absolutely need. I've watched
Now, how
streamers
does
do pretty well without a bio and everybody just focusing on combat. It looked a lot harder and it looked like they were playing a different game in some ways. But that's the way you can do it if you want.
Yeah.
now a couple of things. First, how does it work? How does like you fail? Is it level? Is it just level based? Like you fail the level, you all die. You have to start over the level, and
Yes.
you change your
As
party
of now,
composition.
there's
Like
no skill system. There's no meta game outside of the
okay,
levels. You go in, you either pass or fail. If you pass, you get a new level unlock. If you fail, then you just go back to the screen and start over.
okay. Fuck. Oh, the difficulty. Like, is it? I've heard it's super difficult.
It's hard. Like we failed our first round in about 5 minutes. We continued to fail until we kind of figured out the game. So that's the thing. Like the I'd say probably the hardest part about this game is you and your team figuring out how you're going to function as a team. And you will probably repeatedly fail the first level until you kind of figure out how you're going to conquer the challenges. It is not the kind of game where you can just go to each door, trigger the alarm, bring into the next area, kill all the enemies. Like it is not that kind of game. It will quickly overwhelm you if you try to do. So, like for instance, one of the things we were doing is when we first started, we got up to a security door and we triggered the little horde mode, and then I think 2 or 3 times in a row, what we would do is the second the door would unlock, we would then immediately go through it into the next room and like set up there, right? Well, we didn't realize that by opening that door during the horde mode, we were essentially getting enemies coming at us from both sides. We thought we were doing the right thing because that's what you do in every other game, right? But in this game, it was a massive, massive disadvantage. And we later got to the point where we like told everyone to stay away from the door during the security thing because we had to deal with these guys first, and then we could like stealth the next room. So it's learning the mechanics, learning how your team is going to function with them, and learning how you're going to go about it.
Yeah. And there's Code did a good job of not talking about the roles, but there are ways to like stop doors from being broken down and stuff like that, which becomes
Right.
important. Like it becomes a little bit of, in a weird way, kind of like tower defense where you're stopping
Well,
different entry points and stuff like
You
that.
mentioned the glue gun or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't paying attention
But
when I said that.
that's only the beginning.
Yes.
And learning how to use
Sure.
that properly, it's a very limited resource. You also don't only have to use it for doors. So a lot of people just don't do the door thing at all and use it in a different way. And there's lots and lots of little nuance into how you can utilize the different weapons and equipment.
Yeah.
That is actually something I wanted to bring up. Weird one. Music. How's the
Do you have a
music?
stroke? Or is that?
No, it's
Um,
AFIQLTD. Like that's a tough one to say.
Okay.
I don't remember the music. What I remember more is the sound effect. This game is very I don't know if I'm making this word up. I've said it a few times in my life. Ambiotic? Is that a word?
You can just say ambient.
Ambient. There we go. It's a
Yeah.
very ambient game where you're constantly listening, you're constantly having to like sometimes your hearing is the only way you're going to know where an enemy is in front of you. Because the thing is the enemies react to light. So when it's pitch black, you can't just throw on your flashlight because that's going to alert the enemy. So a lot of times like Sacro and Anthony would be in front of me. I would be back there with the biodetector going, there are 2 enemies directly in front of you. And Sakura would be like, I don't see anything. So at that point, it's like, you have to just
That's
take
awesome.
a step forward and listen for like a click or a small roar or something, you know? So I don't remember there being a lot of, I think the music kind of picked up when you were doing the horde modes. I think there was a little bit of music that would go on during that. I don't remember if it was too, it wasn't too memorable.
Okay.
But the sound effects definitely were, and the sound design was really lent a hand to the gameplay.
Dude, that sounds like a fucking blast, man. It really does.
It's pretty fun. From watching, I had a great time watching it.
Tell me someone.
Hey, if we can't have a person show up this Sunday, Zeke, would you want to jump in possibly?
What time do you go on Sunday?
Probably like 12 to 4 ET.
12 to 4 ET, so that'd be like 3 p.m. Pacific.
Like 11 to 3 your time, I think.
Or no. Excuse me, that's way earlier. Excuse me. I'm going the wrong way. So it'd be 10 a.m. my time then, if it's noon your time.
Oh wait, you moved, right? Yeah, you're in.
No, I'm still in Mountain Time. I've always been in Mountain Time. It's just I use Pacific Time because it's just easier.
I think Mountain Time is, I'm Eastern, so I think you're 1 hour before me. So I think it'd be like 11 to 3 your time.
What? It's noon right now for me. What time is it for you? It is 10.
It's noon right now for you? Wait,
it's 2 p.m. for you.
10.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Man, time zones, man. Time zones.
We need to
The funny
abolish
thing
time
is,
zones.
like,
We got to get them out. They're stupid. Get them done.
Sorry.
The funny thing is, like, I've spoken to multiple people about this, and it's kind of a thing. Men have a big problem with time zones for some reason that women just don't seem to have. And it seems like so ridiculous.
Huh.
Yeah, no, it's I'm being, this is multiple sources going like, yeah, he doesn't know what the fuck how to do fucking time zones. He fucks it up all the time. And like, I never do. I don't get it. Like, what's the problem?
Huh. I think I deal with it so much.
This might not be a rule like for the entire world, but like multiple couples have been like, yeah, he fucks it up. I don't.
Huh. I think my exposure to time zones and being having to do it so often, I get them usually right most of the time. Unless it has to do with like a European who uses like, I'm GMT +4. It's like, that's not a time zone. That doesn't mean anything.
It should be though. I think all around the world, we should adopt it, just like the metric system. Every single time zone should be blank plus this.
Yeah.
Blank, whatever, minus this. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It needs to be.
I hate to say this. That's actually exactly how it already is.
No. Hey, hold on.
He's saying adopt that
GMT,
worldwide.
Yeah, we don't adopt that. Like, you still say Eastern, right?
Yeah, Eastern.
You're saying that instead of saying Eastern, Mountain, and Pacific, we should say GMT minus T. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world should say GMT plus blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yes. I got you. I think we should be CMT, personally.
Country music television?
No, co-master time. I think we should probably just base it around my stream in particular, not even me. I mean, I don't want to be vain or anything. So I think that would probably be the best way to do it.
Might work.
I mean, Sakura knows the queen. I'll see if he can slide a word in or something.
It might help. World leaders can make things happen, it turns out.
Well, it just sucks that there's the 4 main time zones in the US.
Yeah.
And Canada, and no one gives a fuck about 2 of them. Like,
what, Mountain and Central?
Mountain Time, Central Time? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't even know what those mean.
Yeah.
But Pacific Time, Eastern Time, I got those.
Yeah. Time zones are a mess.
Yeah.
Anyways. GTFO, still in early access, right? Still an early access game?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. There was something I was going to bring up, but I forgot. So let's talk about something else.
I think that'd be a good game for us 3 to play with a guest. That'd be a great game for drop frame games.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't necessarily, there's not that many jump scares in it, so I think I'd be okay with it. But yeah, you guys let me know. We'll figure it out. Maybe, I don't know if Ron would be interested in that.
Well, I want to play with you.
Huh?
I want to see you get scared.
I don't know if, here's the thing. I'm going to spoil something about me being scared. It's not fun to watch because I just start laughing. I don't have I don't like freak out. I just laugh. So it's not like it's not like a funny reaction. It's not like me running around freaking out. It's just I laugh.
I laugh. It's not fun.
Yeah. Well, it's not fun for people to watch who are expecting me to be like freaking out because I'm scared. Like when I saw The Grudge in the theater, I just laughed through the movie and people were just like, why the fuck are you laughing? Stop. Like it's not.
Did you give them like a business card like the Joker, like in Joker? And he's like, I have a condition. When I'm scared, I start laughing. Please don't mind me.
No. But I might have been the original Joker. I might have been the person that invented that back in the day. You never know. Who knows?
Could be.
Yeah.
But I'd love to play that. I think it sounds the puzzle solving aspect is really what I'm excited about. I'm excited to like go in there and not know what to do and have to like, figure shit out. Those are my favorite things in raiding. Like when I used to raid like WoW or Destiny or whatever, is figuring out like the boss fights and figuring out like the puzzle involved in like, taking them down and winning and stuff like that. I love that co-op aspect of puzzle solving.
Yeah. From what I've seen of the game, from the first 2 areas that you can go, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like, here is a thing. We're not going to tell you what it does or how to use this or what you're supposed to do with this at all. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of that, which is cool. So, and then one of the last games I think that we have that's new. Co, you were talking about it here at the start of the broadcast, the Metro Exodus DLC. Is it good? How's it going?
Dude, it's awesome so far. So the last I think Metro Exodus DLC is Sam's story, and without spoiling it too much, this is kind of in the pre stuff. It basically follows the story of Sam, who is the only American character from the Metro series. He was actually a guard, a Marine guard for the embassy in Moscow when the bombs dropped. So he went under with all the Russian bros, and he's been a Metro staple for a while. He's voiced by Steve Bloom, does like Cowboy Bebop and many other things.
Yeah.
And so far it's been great. It's a little bit more semi-open world. So the last DLC was 2 kernels, and it was a really great DLC. I may have shed a single manly tear at the end of it. It was really good, but it was really short. You could do like the whole thing in like 2.5 hours. This one is totally different. Instead of being like 1.25 gigs, this DLC is 6 gigs, and I've already played it like 5 hours, and I'm probably like 50 to 60% through it. It's much more of a verbose DLC, so it has a lot more going on. More weapons, more mechanics, more characters. Actually, it's really cool so far, and I'm really enjoying it. There was like at one point in the middle of it, almost a 20-minute cutscene of like, and I don't want to talk. It was a really good cutscene. It was one of those ones that kind of sticks with you. That a lot of funny, memorable things happen during it, and that was just in the middle. And I still have, I don't even know how much longer to go, but yeah.
You said verbose. I think you meant robust.
Well, verbose and robust are similar. Yeah. Verbose just means like loud, like over the like.
Yeah. Expansive.
Okay. Yeah, it's
by
I see what it
words.
is. Okay. But again, I don't want to spoil it too much because you find some big things out pretty soon at the beginning. But yeah, it's really cool so far, and I'm not only going to be diving in probably a little bit after drop frames, but I'm actually coming back for an evening stream tonight to get some more time in it as well. So it's been really good. Really good.
Cool.
I'm the problem is though, man, is I'm torn because I know exactly how the Metro devs work, and there's no happy endings in Metro. So like, this is the story of Sam going to find his family, and I'm just like, how is this going to just horribly screw up and be bad and terrible? And oh my god,
they're not making it through the story.
I know, dude. I know. But it's been really good so far, and it's been a fantastic DLC.
Yeah, game still looks pretty. It's one thing I always. Does it run well? Because I remember it looked pretty, but it ran like so. Have they?
They have figured out that stuff. It runs like butter on my computer.
Do you have RTX on?
Literally everything turned on.
Okay.
Yeah, RTX is on ultra. Even the Hairworks is on. Like everything is turned on my system right now, and it's running gorgeously. Also went ahead and put in like there's an FOV fix. You can turn off motion blur completely. So like at this point in the game, it's totally souped up.
Cool. All right. Anyone play anything else? I think that's it for me.
I played a little more Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah, did you end up finishing it, or were you good?
No, I didn't end up finishing it. It's going to be one of those games that I probably had to do like a cleanup somewhere later down the line.
Yeah.
Like there's a few games that I feel like I kind of want to finish. Discworld Noir is one of them. I'm on the last disc of that, so I want to finish that, and then I want to finish. I also do want to play more of the Tomb Raider CD-ROM because for all of its graphical and control, age that it shows, it's a great game. It really is. It's a lot of fun. I like just like Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. It's the level design is really a lot of why what gives it its enjoyment is the way that secrets are discovered and puzzles are put together and that kind of stuff. I found, I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's a nude mod that you can
Really?
put. Yes. I found it on this weird like file sharing like forum website.
Yeah.
And you have to like know where to go and know who to talk to, and then they'll direct you. And they swore me to secrecy, like not of the like to where it is, where to find it.
Oh,
like
okay.
I can talk about the thing, but I can't tell you where to find. You have to be like invited into this kind of group too,
like a secret club,
but
right?
It's, let me just say, it's worth it. It's worth it, man. It really looks. It's hot. It's hot. Like watching Lara.
All right.
Like,
is it scrambled? Is it better than scrambled porn?
It's like you were watching my stream when I told that story. Were you watching my stream when I told that story?
No, I'm just.
Never mind.
I lived in the 90s and knew what it was like. It was scrambled porn or Tomb Raider, Zeke. What else? We didn't have any other options.
Long story short, I was watching the scrambles and got busted by my littlest brother was I think 4 at the time. The dad hired a live-in nanny.
This story is just getting worse as you go on.
For the record,
you can see the whole story.
The other guy is telling to his therapist these days. So it's kind of funny how that works out. But anyway, please continue.
But Tomb Raider is awesome. It's fun.
Okay,
The
all right.
controls are weird. Like trying to jump across something is a chore. Comparatively to nowadays standards, because you have to like push the walk button, because if you press forward one time, she'll take like 3 steps forward.
Oh yeah, no, it's
like auto run.
It's tank controls before they were actually better.
It's not one step. It's like, I'm gonna run all the way over there. You pressed it forward one time, so you have to hold down the run button or the walk button, excuse me, to get her walk to the edge, and then you take the walk off. You press the back button once, and she does like a little hop step back, and then you have to press forward run first.
Mm-hmm.
Then hold down the jump button.
Is this to get the nude patch?
No, this is just to get across, from one place to another.
I thought I figured it out finally after 20 years.
Nope, this is just one place to another. And that's the thing, like with old controls, old PC controls.
Yeah.
But figuring it out, it's kind of half the fun. Kind of like, troubleshooting how to get it to work and shit like that. But it's a great game. I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit. And the voice acting, all the voice acting save Lara is just B-movie schlock. Just it's so good.
Oh God.
You'll never get away with this.
Yep.
But Lara Croft sounds like a regular person, which is it's such a fucking juxtaposition of like, I'm actually acting. I am acting as well. Are we on equal playing field? No, you are not.
They just got the developers back then. That's all that is. It's like the animator.
All the money went to Lara's voice actor, and they were like,
"That's how it worked at Eidos.
Get Johnny from the news or from the mailroom. Get him up here."
Yeah. That's how it went. That was Eidos made that, right? But it was Interplay that published it. Who was behind that?
Core Design Limited. Eidos Interactive.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
let's see. Oh, the disc is in of course.
Oh, is that No, Crystal Dynamics didn't exist then, I don't think. I think Core
Design was probably the publisher, right?
No, they might have been the devs with Eidos publishing it. I don't know.
Okay.
It gets weird back in those days before EA owned everyone.
No, Core Design has programmers, so I'm guessing they're not. I'm guessing IDOS published it.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
because IDOS has the marketing support and that kind of stuff, but Core Design has the programmers.
Yeah.
And graphic artists and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Square Enix owns
Well,
IDOS
if you
now.
want to know more, you can dial 1-900-77 IDOS if you want hints.
I bet you that's a porn line now.
And it's only 95 cents per minute, and you must be 18 or have parents' permission, just so you know.
What was that number?
Yeah, call
And a
them.
touch tone phone is required.
Call them. It's probably a porn line.
1-900
777 IDOS. I'd be surprised if your cell phone lets you call those, because I don't think it will.
IDOS.
No, it's
Yep,
probably.
I've tried before, and my cell phone does not allow it. I think you have to have a landline.
Wireless. Call cannot be completed.
Oh.
Dialed.
Damn.
Yeah, 900 numbers went the way of the dodo because they can't charge a cell phone or whatever.
Oh, really? Is that because it's not connected? It's not a landline properly, or
900 charging numbers, like auto charge numbers.
right? Oh, okay. Auto charge. I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I remember I ran up like a $300 phone bill when I was a child because I was calling a 900 number. It was a wrestling. Like I call up and be like, Hulk Hogan comes at you. Press 1 to do an elbow drop. Press 2 to do a drop kick. Press 3 to try and pin. And shit like that. And then you lose. And I call back and I was like, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. Little did I know, my mom was like, what the fuck were you doing?
Vince
Who are you
McMahon.
calling?
He knew, man. He knew how to scam kids.
For me, it was hint lines. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. I'll never
hint.
forget because like
I thought you
the,
said
the way that they
hint. I was like,
structured
what?
it was so funny because like to get through the menus to get to the hint you needed took like 5 minutes. It would because they would talk so it's like, so have you begun the game yet? Press the number 1 if you'd like to get to the main menu. Oh, you have started the game.
And you know, it's
At
just
what
a room full of
point in the
cubicles.
game are you?
Yeah.
And on the wall, in a big one of those big what were those printers, the dot matrix printers, like just a banner that says keep them on the line.
Yep. 100%. It was what Kip Boga does now as a stream, but that was a job back then for hint lines. That's how it went. Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's jump into some news here. Kind of dominating the airwaves this morning. Geoff Keighley's out. He's no longer doing E3 this year. He put out a statement via the official news source, aka Twitter. And said, for the past 25 years, I have attended every electronic entertainment expo. Covering, hosting, and sharing E3 has always been a highlight of my year, not to mention a defining part of my career. I've debated what to say about E3 2020. While I want to support the developers who will showcase their work, I also need to be open and honest with you, the fans, about precisely what to expect from me. I've made the difficult decision to decline to produce the E3 Coliseum. For the first time in 25 years, I will not be participating in E3. I look forward to supporting the industry in other ways at other events in the future.
He does
quick.
reply to that tweet saying if you have any questions to ask him on social media. But what's very interesting is the complete lack of reasoning from that announcement.
Real quick, what is E3 Coliseum?
That's
E3
what,
Coliseum is the
yeah.
big show at E3. It's their like setup. It's where they do the showcases.
Yeah. He's been like the main event within E3 for people to go and see things at, apart from the other booths as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like their stage, yeah. Like the I want to say the official E3 stage.
What appears on their stage? Like what conference?
Everything at E3.
Yeah.
And interviews with
I
like
thought-
the biggest and biggest names, blah blah blah.
Oh, I thought like Sony, Xbox, all them stuff, like rented out different areas and did their conferences there.
Right. Then they all go to the E3 Coliseum and talk to Geoff.
Somebody asked
Okay.
him, would you say your choice not to attend is largely based on factors about E3 2020 that are not yet known to the public? And his response was, it's a combination of things. What fueled your decision to not participate? A ton of factors. I just don't really feel comfortable participating given what I know about the show as of today.
That seems a little
Okay, so it
cryptic.
sounds like he knows some things that may not be public.
Well, there was a thing that leaked a while back where it was like an internal memo or something like that at ESA where they were talking about how they're like focusing on influencers and a bunch of like silly buzzwords around E3. So I wonder if that scared him off in terms of wanting to
It was a
participate.
pretty scary presentation.
Yeah, no, it was
very
nightmarish.
yeah,
It was real
it was
rough
bad
for
It was
sure.
Bad.
And I think there was like an internal call like 2 or 3 weeks ago where they kind of talked about that. And it's funny if you compare what leaked to that call, there were definitely words and things and phrases that were said that were very similar. So
a lot of tangents.
Yeah. Someone says, "Oh no, it's a TikTok show." There will probably be some sort of TikTok presence, I would bet, at E3 this year, without a doubt. But yeah.
Cool.
I don't know what E3 is going to look like this year. It's good. It's weird. It's a weird thing. We're only like what, 4 months from it, right? June? No, it happens the first month or first week of July. So 5.
About 4 months. I mean, we're getting close.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I also wonder if he tried to do opening night live there and they said, no, it's still the E3 Coliseum. Like, we're not going to rebrand it. Because opening night live is kind of the thing that he has with Gamescom that went pretty well this past year. But I think he kind of owns everything around that, whereas the E3 Coliseum was E3 and he produced
Especially with the Game Awards, he's kind of outgrown E3 in a lot of ways.
He is his own E3. Yeah,
I was going to say, don't you think that that's what he's doing? He's pivoting, like, the eyes of the gamer world used to it used to be E3, like the one event every year. And now it's kind of like everybody watches the Game Awards now. So maybe that's where everybody announces their shit, which fucking sucks because it's going to make the show just an ad fest even more so than it is now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the industry's pivoting, right? Like you can now choose when you want to talk about your stuff. You don't have to do it at E3 every year. And so for development cycles, it's much better because there's no crunch around. There's not like, hey, let's make a vertical slice specifically for this one 3-day event, which is not going to mean anything after this 3-day event, but we're going to work completely overtime to make it happen.
You know, I never looked at it like that. That's a really good point. Honestly, I as much as I hate it as a fan, as much as I want all of my gaming reveals to happen on this like fucking Super Bowl of 3 days, 4 days, whatever. I get that, and you're probably right. That's a better choice for everybody. Yeah. Like spread it out throughout the year. I don't have to like it, but I do appreciate it and understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if we get closer, if you'll start to see like major publications out there say like, we're not covering E3 or we won't be there in person after all the doxing happened this past year.
Rami had a tweet about that earlier.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can
pull it up.
Here.
Or I can pull it up too if you want. Let's see.
Yeah. On a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being a respected institute in gaming with a rich history of being the center point of games media, and 10 being that one event last year that leaked personal information of all the attending media folks, E3 2020 seems to be sitting at a solid 8 so far.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Ooh. Yeah. I was reading some personal reports of that doxing. Like there are journalists that had to physically move their entire family and like relocate and buy new houses because their address was leaked, and people that didn't agree with their review score of whatever game, doxed the fuck out of them. So it's a pretty big deal. Like I think if it ever happens, I think it will happen. They just have to find enough people willing to agree to it. You'll see like a class action lawsuit against the ESA because they fucked with a ton of people's life and cost them a lot of money when that happened. So yeah, not to even mention like the death threats and all that nonsense that happens when stuff like that. So yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with E3 as we get closer. Phil Spencer's out
You know-
there saying Microsoft will be there, so we know they'll be there, but we'll see who else will be there in the coming months as we get closer.
I wonder if they're going to try to capitalize on this and become like more of a centerpiece. Like the people that are remaining at E3 are going to start like cannibalizing all of
I
the
mean,
PR. and
they've always
stuff.
done their show kind of outside of E3, right? So they might have a smaller presence at the actual show, or maybe a bigger presence at the actual show. I don't know. What were we going to say, Zeke?
I wouldn't be mad if it was if E3 like did just a face change and became like a place for indie games.
That's
Just like
PAX.
a whole. How many PAXs are there, dude? Come on.
There's 3.
No,
There's too many PAXs.
That's what
Actually,
I'm saying.
there's 4.
A place where everybody's watching them announce what's coming up.
Oh, you mean like a one-stop shop?
Exactly. Like once per year. And I mean, I understand the whole crunch thing like that, but I would love like a spotlight on that where everybody watches, sees what's coming from independent developers.
Yeah. Well, probably not on the scale that you're wishing for. Kind of Funny did that last year with their indie showcase. And it was like pretty good. They showed, I don't remember how many games, but they showed a lot of indie stuff. I remember watching that conference, if that's what you want to call it. But yeah, so more grim news for E3 as we move on through the year. We'll see how that goes.
Not looking super good for him.
It is not 100%. We'll kind of run through some other news stuff here. Concerned Ape is working on, quote, a couple of new projects, one within the Stardew Valley universe. Good for him. I think he's out there saying he doesn't really want to say too much or say anything else apart from that because he doesn't want people to get too stir crazy, but cool. I think a lot of people would love to see more from that guy, especially after the success of Stardew. What's going on?
Talking about news, I just saw apparently they're bringing back Prince of Persia
Yeah, it's a VR game.
as a VR escape room.
It's a VR escape room. It is indeed. That's a weird thing to do with that IP.
Okay.
What was the last Prince of Persia was a movie tie-in, right? With Jake Gyllenhaal? Was that the last game?
It's been a long time, man.
I think that was the last thing that we saw around Prince of Persia. Yeah. Do they have any like screenshots or anything? Oh, they had wait, no. Is this it?
Here you go. I got an article.
Well, I'm
in
reading.
the,
I have the article open, but there's no like videos,
Oh, yeah.
right?
That's what I've seen.
Oh, they have like full questions in here and everything. I mean, in a way, Prince of Persia just turned into Assassin's Creed, right? Like, they can't make both games because they're so similar, aren't they? Like, isn't Assassin's Creed just a bigger Prince of Persia, not focused on only traversal and I guess combat? But
Well, Prince of Persia was kind of puzzly in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like Assassin's Creed really kind of generalized out. Like it kind of like found a formula and then just repeated it over and over and over. Mostly pre-Origins and Odyssey. But yeah, Prince of Persia from God, the years and years ago I played it. I remember it being a lot more puzzle roomy. You
Yeah.
came into an area and you'd have to kind of figure out where to go and how you're going to jump in which ways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then again, I haven't played it for a long time.
The person they're doing the QA here is Cyril Voiron, I guess is how I'll go with that pronunciation. He's the executive producer for Ubisoft Escape Games, so they have an entire department, I guess, for their escape games. I found this quote interesting as I'm just kind of reading through it. First, just like with Assassin's Creed, we want to make sure that if you're a fan, you feel that we have treated the IP with respect. I don't know if is a VR escape treating the IP. I feel like that's just using the IP. I don't know if that's. Who knows? Maybe it'll be the greatest VR game to exist yet. Who knows?
Maybe so.
Look, I got to be optimistic, Co, about something.
I had that CNC game a while back work out.
Oh God, yeah. Got to have some optimism, Co, about something.
Oh God. Yeah.
I don't know if like a VR. speaking outside of the idea that it's the Prince of Persia IP being used in a weird way, is someone who has not done an escape room and is someone who is not around my streamer friends in the same location every so often, the idea of doing like a VR escape room is kind of cool. We can all like jump into that.
Well, I mean, escape room games can be actually pretty damn fun. There's a really cool series that I played while traveling called The Room.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah,
called
yeah.
the Room 1, 2, and 3. And I mean, those are cool. Those are entertaining. They're fun. There's a definite feeling of accomplishment when you solve some of the harder puzzles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, escape rooms can be really, really cool when done properly. They can also be extremely lame. And then like not very interesting. Or, the puzzles can be just like complete guesswork instead of actually like having intelligent, good thought and leads put into them. So it really depends on implementation.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Pretty lengthy interview. I'm not going to scan through everything there, but it's on the news.ubisoft.com if you want to read more. What else is out there? Neo 2 went gold. That's great. Means it's not delayed. It's locked in. I also saw that Neo 1 sold 3 million lifetime, which is cool to see that type of stuff.
Not bad.
Yeah, chat's reminding me of the Anthem news that hit on Monday, where they're basically,
Oh,
yeah, they're out there saying that they're gonna like take a look at Anthem and perhaps move on to the next Anthem or reboot it or
redo it. essentially.
something to that effect.
They're going to try to make it the game that they sold it as, basically.
Yeah,
They
I'm trying to
struck
pull
out the
up
first time, and they're going to take another crack at it.
Yeah, man.
Kind of funny because I've seen a lot of people say things like, "Oh man, I can't wait to see what they come up with," and yeah, maybe they're going to save Anthem, and it's kind of like you do realize the people that screwed it up the first time are just basically trying again. Like I would not, it would be great if they turned Anthem into something awesome, but they sold it as something that would have been awesome, and then didn't really do that. And now they're just kind of going back and being like, well, we're going to try to actually do all that cool stuff we said we were going to do. And it's like, it's good that you're trying, but to get hyped over that, I don't really understand. I mean, sure, we can try it when it comes out and hopefully it's good, but I don't really understand how people are getting excited over that.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think a lot of people, particularly in my case, will be like, "Oh, Final Fantasy did it. Like maybe they can do it as well." It's like, yeah, I mean, No Man's Sky did it as well. We talked about
Destiny
those
2
games. Yeah,
underwent a pretty big evolution.
we talk about how those games like made a great comeback, but that wasn't an easy process. And for every game that you could say, yeah, they did it, there's a lot of games that didn't do it. Like it's an extremely hard process. And I think knowing what the No Clip documentary that went into kind of the Square Enix and talked to them about how they redid all of the stuff in Realm Reborn. It is like a top-down rework. And exactly what Ko just said, the people that are probably in charge of this at the top were there in the first place, and they might not be making the best decisions to begin with. So there was one quote that stood out when I read this on Monday that I wanted to read here, which was kind of an interesting thing because I read it as kind of a dig at upper management. The quote is, "And to do that properly, we'll be doing something we'd like to have done more of the first time around, giving a focused team the time to test and iterate, focusing on gameplay first." They straight out come out and say like, well, we should have done this the first time. And we didn't, but we're going to do it this time. That was probably like the most interesting comment from that entire post. So I don't know.
They could also just be trying to fabricate an us versus them feeling, so kind of as an excuse to why it went wrong the first time. Like
Yeah.
it's really hard to tell these days because like especially with a company like BioWare where a solid 80 to 90% of the BioWare we knew is no longer with the company. It's kind of like it's tough, man, especially after that Kotaku expose about the Dragon Age 4 development and how that company has inherent major internal issues, not just like like the top end management telling them what to do. Like they're having problems with the left hand talking to the right hand in like the middle management area where the magic happens, so to speak. So I don't know, man. Like again, I wish him the best. I'm still one of the people that love the Anthem gameplay. Like if they could actually create an interesting, engaging metagame that keeps you playing it for 20, 40, 60, 80 hours and a meaningful progression during that time, we'd all be playing Anthem still probably. Like if they could have pulled that off the first time. So yeah, it's theirs to lose, man. They've got a good formula with the gameplay. They just need to give a decent metagame. It just doesn't exist in the current form.
It is kind of interesting too, the fact that they put this statement out and they are framing it with this idea that it's going to get people talking about exactly what we're talking about. Like, oh, is this going to be the next No Man's Sky? Or, instead of just saying like, hey, we're going to make an Anthem 2 and then just talk like that's it. Like they're just, that you just stop right there. Then you let everyone else decide. Like they're kind of setting it up for a comeback story in a sense, which is a little bit weird. At least putting it out there, that's how the community is receiving it. Do what?
With as much as a flop as Anthem was, I think if they actually announced an Anthem 2, that really everyone would just laugh.
Well, it pissed people off, yeah.
Yeah, it would just be like, why would anyone count on an Anthem 2 after Anthem 1? So it's almost like this was really their only decision. The thing that we talked about a little bit yesterday on my stream that's really kind of frustrating though, is they are clearly pouring so many resources into Anthem. Like to think about how much they rushed it at the end of its development cycle, how long it was in production for before, like it was relatively polished. Like they put so much effort and time into Anthem, and now here they are saying that they're going to like basically reinvent it from the ground up, and they left Mass Effect to die. Like, why don't
you're still burned about Mass Effect?
I'm still burned about Mass Effect, man. Like, why are you reinventing Anthem when you killed Mass Effect? Like, why don't you go back and turn that into something amazing?
Oh, man.
Like, why are we doing this to some like brand new IP that has no footing? Like, I don't know, dude. It's frustrating. Like they screwed up Mass Effect so bad, they literally killed the franchise. They killed it. They didn't even make the DLC for the game they were going to. And now they're talking about reinventing a game that flopped. It's like, man, priorities, dudes, priorities.
Wait. Now, let me ask you this. Does not Anthem have promise?
If it wasn't a shipped game, I think you could say that, but
Anthem right now, at this moment, is a dead game. So is there promise right now in Anthem? I would say there's the opposite. I think everyone tried it and 99.9% of people walked away.
Okay.
Am I wrong, Pat? Is anyone still playing Anthem?
very few, if any. You'll get
No, I'm just wondering, like, are the developers and the publishers like seeing something in the game that has enough merit to go like, okay, we think this is going to work.
Oh,
It just,
100%.
you just really, but I'm saying, like, what is that thing?
It's the fact that it's a live service. They
Not
EA
only-
wants a live service game. That's
Yes.
the entirety why it exists.
But also, to be fair to Anthem, like almost all the complaints were about the longevity, the complete lack of complexity, the complete lack of end game. Like the complaints were not generally about the core, like the gameplay. And in fact, there was a lot of positive things people said about the gameplay. So there is a kernel of something in there, but depending on how many resources and how much work it's going to take to develop that into something that would actually shine with the rest of it being constructed around it properly, like that is super up in the air. I will say though that I think JP kind of nailed it with those two magic words a second ago on why they're trying to reboot this and not Mass Effect, that whole live service thing.
Yeah.
That may be, I mean, this, for instance, this whole Anthem reboot, this may have just been a marketing ploy told in an executive meeting, like, okay, we need to try to get some more money out of this IP. Like we put so much into it and we got so little out of it. We have to do something to try to get more money out of it. Can we reinvent it, or at least make people think we're reinventing it and like try to get more sales? Like that's all this could be in reality. Unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. That's why I'm so big about, like, don't get excited about this. Like, wait until we actually see it. Like, wait until we get that nice big feature list of what they're actually changing and what is actually going to be in the game. And then when it's actually in the game, we can talk about getting excited.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
it.
It's an live services are so interesting because Co just made a great point with like the way you get people, and Division did it yesterday. The way you get people interested in a live service is you put the game out there, you let it kind of sit for hopefully a short amount of time, a month, 2 months, 6 months, whatever. And then you think about it and say, all right, the community really wants this stuff. We're going to push a new update and it's going to have all this stuff. We don't know if it's going to be good, but it's a live service. So we can go back and say, hey, we're going to change this if it's bad. And then you push it out there and you hope it sticks. Destiny's done it. Division's doing it. Like almost every live service does that, right? And they reinvigorate interest in the entire IP, which is exactly what Division's doing. Destiny does it almost every season. And with Anthem, like the base was so bad that they couldn't go out there and say, hey, we're going to change a couple of things because it just sucked. Like it was just that bad that they would have to change so much to it. That they put out a statement, like they said, in the one on Monday where it's like, hey, we're going to try everything all over again. And like, that's their live service update in a way. It's their roadmap, which is another buzzword around the whole live service thing.
There are some folks in my chat that were saying like how they're surprised how negative I'm being about this situation. And dude, trust me, I wish I could be more positive about this stuff. But like what I'm not going from guesswork. Like this is stuff we see over and over in the game industry of an IP not doing well or an IP being shelved and then companies just bringing it back, trying to make a little bit more money on it. And like we see this over and over from Bethesda,
Yeah.
from EA, from all these companies. So it's not really being negative. It's just being cognitive about what could actually be going on. Like these are actual realities where they very well could be not planning on making many big changes and just trying to get more money out of the IP because of how many resources they sunk into it. That can happen. I mean, we've got Fallout 76s, we've got CNCs, we've got a lot of proven examples where companies will try to do the absolute bare minimum, try to get as much money out of an IP. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I'm the first to say I hope I'm wrong. I hope the reboot of Anthem is amazing. I hope we all love it and that it reboots it like Destiny and Final Fantasy, and that'd be great. Yeah, Warcraft 3 Reforged is another example. Absolutely, it just came out. So Overwatch 2 even argued. But anyway, it's just not being blinded by hype. That was the me of like years ago. And these days it's just kind of like a lot more careful, a lot more like let's kind of wait, let's not put the cart before the horse kind of.
I wonder how much different your look on everything would be if they didn't fuck up Mass Effect. Like I feel like we got burned so bad.
If you notice, so I didn't even name Mass Effect when I was talking about
Sure,
that stuff. I mean,
yeah.
Mass Effect was a different kind of screw up. That was more of like a publisher rushing something out the door that obviously wasn't ready. That's a different beast. That's a different beast. I mean, there was some good stuff in Andromeda. Andromeda could have been great if it had the proper development time. If it had been a finished game, like Andromeda could have been really cool. Some of the best side quests in the Mass Effect franchise are in Mass Effect Andromeda. They just, again, it was rushed. The money became too much of an issue. It was rushed, and also BioWare was having issues. Development.
Right. What else is out there news-wise? Outer Worlds shipped 2 million units. I saw that headline and thought that was kind of low. Is that wrong?
Well, no, it's not. It's not wrong because actually Take-Two did a little blurb where one of the leaders of Take-Two said, "We can't even tell you how much being free on Game Pass during release affected our numbers."
Oh.
That was actually a really big deal because 2 million it's still a success, and both the publishers and the dev and Microsoft say that Outer Worlds is a success, but they can't really. The metrics are completely skewed when a release game goes out on a $1 per month service. Like that's really tough to come up with real numbers when that kind of stuff is there. So yeah.
I mean, they can track it from Microsoft saying like, hey, we had this many downloads, but that's Microsoft saying it and not necessarily the company. So yeah.
And the 2 million was shipped units. So
right. A little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little different.
I wonder if you can make like just combined or cross-reference the two numbers of people that bought the Game Pass that day and also got Outer Worlds. I'm wondering if that's something you can like
and then
put
you
together
can
and go like,
attribute the Game Pass purchase for that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wonder.
Then again, the dollar deal kind of throws that all on its head anyway.
Has
I don't know.
Has Microsoft said how many like subscribers or whatever the term is they have for the Xbox Game Pass? Is that number out there? I'm getting no from
That's a good
chat.
question. Microsoft has not revealed exact subscriber numbers for Game Pass, but we have, being NeoGF, learned there are currently some 9.5 million monthly users.
Huh? I would have expected. I mean, that's still a good amount. That's a great amount,
This
honestly.
was
But,
from May 13th last year.
oh, it's probably more than
So
that by a
it was
large.
probably significantly more. That was like before the big deals and everything.
Yeah, I'd be
Um,
surprised if when they announce the new Xbox, if that's not a number that they drop somewhere in that press release to say
Yeah.
like, hey, this is the real fucking deal. Like we're not, we've
mhm,
got a huge
mhm.
subscriber base already. Here's a new console that can play all this stuff. Yeah, it a better
November
whatever.
14th, Xbox head Phil Spencer told Game Sutra that subscribers for its subscription library on Xbox Game Pass have doubled over the last year. So still
Damn.
not giving numbers, but clearly it's
So
definitely
like somewhere in the
up.
neighborhood of like 15 to 20,
Probably.
Essentially
if it was 9.5.
Yeah. I mean, it's
9.5 in May. Yeah, I mean, it very well could be.
the amount of people that, and I echo what they say, but the amount of people that say it's the best deal in video games right now for like bang for your buck, it is staggering. I've heard that from so many different types of gamers, in terms of, where they work in the gaming industry, what they work on. It's pretty crazy, what you can actually get for that type of stuff. Even if you're a PC gamer, like the PC options that you can get for it are staggering for sure.
It has been astounding playing all types of different games and having so many people like come into my chat and be like, "Oh, where'd you get this?" And I was like, "Blah," and they're like, "Oh, it's free on Game Pass." Like how many times that happened throughout the year was fucking amazing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that. Someone in chat, King Gum, is saying that Samsung's new phones will have Xbox games on it via the Xbox Game Pass as well. So if they run potentially with like through Project X Cloud or whatever that service is called, that's a ginormous market when it comes to the mobile market, which could also be a giant competitor to kind of the Apple game service right now, which I think is doing like okay. I don't think it's doing poorly by any means, but I haven't checked it out in a long time. What else is out there? There was a while back, Riot Games was talking about some different projects that they have. Project A is kind of their Overwatch project. And Henry CSGO, who I believe is like a host or a commentator in the CSGO world, got to play it recently, put out some tidbits of what it was. Some of the stuff we already knew, some of the stuff might be new information. It's round-based 5-on-5 tactical shooter. Slightly diluted elements of class/hero FPS-based FPS games. Classes and their own unique abilities should be seen as tactical utility. Abilities are primarily used to be need to be purchased at the start of a round. Oh, that's interesting. So it has like a buy period, a la CSGO, for your abilities. They share the same economy reservoir as weaponry. All classes have access to the same generic weaponry via an economy. One bullet headshot with any of the primary rifles will do enough damage to take down an opponent. Interesting. I wonder how that'd go. There's also some other stuff that said another pro player, Line Pro, posted a picture that claims the game will be free to play and that they will only sell cosmetics. But since there's no actual source of this apart from the image, take it with a grain of salt. That'd be interesting if they put out a Overwatch free-to-play clone from Riot. Like just the installed user base of League of Legends being pushed, if that's on the same launcher, is pretty insane. And Riot being Riot, they try to make an esport around it. And they push that into the LCS formula. It'd be pretty crazy.
Dude, if Riot does that right, then their game is going to eclipse like most others if they do it properly.
Yeah.
They have the deck is stacked in their favor if they can pull it off properly. But there's lots of little tiny things that could prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting.
To reiterate what chat's saying, yeah, it's more like CS:GO than Overwatch, correct? But I think that it immediately gets compared to Overwatch before CS:GO because of the idea that you have abilities and whatnot. It's not just gunplay.
Counter-Strike with skills, as somebody just said in my chat. Yeah, pretty much from what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised they went that route with it. But
The cynic in me went Counter-Strike with skills like you were talking shit. Not like a skill tree, but like Counter-Strike, but you need skills. And I was like, whoa, go, dude. Whoa,
it's
back
like
up.
Counter-Strike, but if you're not Zeke playing it, it's like or I should say me either. Really any.
There was a speaking of Counter-Strike, they had a all-time concurrent record. I'm trying to find what it was. I think it was like upper 800,000 people were playing Counter-Strike like last week sometime. I can't find the fucking article. Was it 900K, chat? 900K. Jeez. It's funny to think.
Hey, man.
I guess funny is maybe not the word. It's interesting to think that there's that many people playing Counter-Strike on Steam. And it's like, you just don't think about it unless you're playing Counter-Strike, I guess. But it's fucking huge. 901,305 players was the number. So it overtook Dota for the first time in years. Huh. It's big. Any other news that you guys saw? I think that's about it for this week in news. I was trying to see if there's anything else.
Mid-February. Yeah, not a huge amount going on right now. Just kind of in standby.
I was gonna get Burke Black on, only because he's been playing that. Have you guys seen that Walking Dead VR game?
Oh,
We talked about that a little bit, right?
Did we? I don't remember.
Yep. No, well, we could bring on Burke Black or Bikeman.
No, Bike's been playing it, yeah.
called it like one of the best VR games he's ever played.
Yeah, Burke
like,
echoes that as well. It looks. I saw. I think Moonman, Moon's been playing it as well.
Moonman.
It looks pretty interesting. Maybe Burke was making it look like this was the case. Chat, you guys verify for me. Apparently, when you play that game on the headset, you can make it so if you talk or like shriek or react with some audio cue, it puts that into the game and the zombies react to you.
It'll attract the walkers, right?
Man, that's smart. That's really cool. Because like Burke would play it, and most streams you want to talk as much as possible as a broadcaster, and he would go for like entire levels and not say a word except for like peeking out behind a wall and like make a noise so the zombies would come closer. That's pretty fucking cool. Like it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah,
I unfortunately had to put VR on pause for a bit.
Yeah.
The last couple VR streams I did, I not only injured myself but the equipment around me. So I've come to the conclusion that I really need to get a decent VR setup going before I really dive in again.
Yeah.
I like split a finger. I broke one of my lights. Like my mic got
dangerous.
smashed a few times. Like, oh Lord. Yeah.
Is it just available on PC?
Yes.
I'm just curious.
I don't know if it's PSVR, actually. I shouldn't say yes because I don't know that. Let me see. It might be coming to PSVR later.
Okay.
Like how people in my chat are like, but you have extra rooms. Yeah, I did before I had 2 kids. Now I don't have enough rooms.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Cole just rents the rooms from his kids.
All sorts of fun stuff. Oh God.
I do not see anything about it coming to PSVR. It says Valve Index, Oculus Vive, Cosmos, and Windows MR. I don't know what the fuck that is. January 23rd, 2020 is when it came out. So
Windows MR?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Is that
what is that?
I don't. Let's see. I'm gonna Google that. What the fuck is
mixed reality?
Mixed reality. Okay. All right.
Wait. MR games?
Windows Mixed Reality. Windows Mixed Reality is a mixed reality platform introduced as part of the Windows 10 operating system, which provides holographic and mixed reality experiences with compatible.
What medium does that go through?
In terms of what headset?
Because that wouldn't work on a VR headset.
They have a handful of weird looking headsets. Acer apparently makes one. The Acer Windows mixed reality headset is $270 on Amazon.
HoloLens. Okay.
Huh. I didn't know that Acer was making mixed reality headsets already.
Well, mixed reality is really, really ambiguous. Like it's confusing. Is it VR or is it augmented reality? Because I know what AR is.
I think it's
AR.
both.
I know what VR is.
MR is AR. So like mixed reality is supposed to mean that it's kind of like, you remember the AR demos of Minecraft where they would like see the Minecraft thing. That's from what I understand, MR. It's combining like real life stuff and virtual reality stuff.
Chat's saying
Overlay.
MR is just VR with a dumb name. It's just marketing. It's like Microsoft's spin on it, apparently.
Oh, that's even dumber. Okay. I thought it was AR.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. That seems kind of stupid, but
Whatever.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Are we good? You guys want to talk about anything else? At least news wise? I don't think there's
I'm
really...
good, man.
Okay.
I'm good.
Cool. Like I said, we'll have the head of Kickstarter games, Luke, on. I think Luke Crane will be on next week, probably at the start of the show. And then we rescheduled with Mr. Baker, Mr. Troy Baker. I believe he's going to be on the 4th, but we'll have 100% confirm that in the coming weeks, and we'll let you guys know. And then we might try to get Burke / Bike, maybe both, to come on and talk a little bit about the Walking Dead stuff, because I would love to hear more about that. Let's do some shout outs. Zeke, you want to start us off?
You bet. What up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me at or / Ezekiel _I on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks, Co and JP, for being awesome co-hosts every week. And if you want to catch me, I will be on later today, probably in 2 hours. Since we did a shorter show today, I'll be live in 2 hours on my channel, and we're just gonna do a little short stream of preparing for the upcoming Indie Week that's happening Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on my channel. We're going to do a week of Indie Sundays, which means we're going to go through my game suggestions tab on my Discord and see what indie games have come out in the last month or 2 months, and comprise a big fat list of them. So if you want to come help me do that, that'll be in a couple hours from now. If you want to just check me out for those indie days, it's starting at noon Pacific tomorrow. That's all I got.
Cool. Co, do some shout outs for us.
Sure. As always, big thanks to JP and Zeke. Very fun couple power hours here. My name is Co. I currently playing through Wasteland 2, Metro Exodus. I'm going to be checking out Wolcen for the first time tomorrow. I'm actually going to be doing a power hour of Metro as soon as we're done here today. Going to be going from about 3 to 4, and then most likely jumping on for another hour at some point this evening as well, because I want to try to get as much of that in as I can. And as I said, tomorrow is Wolcen. Don't know how long we're going to do it, at least for the morning, most likely. And then probably back in Wasteland 2 as we continue that adventure into the weekend. As always, thank you for being here. Hope to see you next week or on the channel, whatever comes first. And thank you for watching.
What time's the Wolcen is a morning stream game tomorrow?
I think so.
Okay.
Still waiting for details.
I'll be there to check that out. I'm curious to see what that looks like.
Cool.
Also, someone in chat told me to ask you about pineapple pizza. Any comments? I'll do some shout outs. The hell is that? Get out of here. I don't know what.
You bastards.
Sorry. Hi, I'm going to be playing more Witcher 3 after this, immediately following the show. And then later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'll be jumping into some Anno 1800 co-op with Gassy Mexican. We'll be playing into the middle of the night, I'm sure. For that, that's tonight and tomorrow, then probably just more Witcher 3 between now and then. I got to figure out if I should just beat the main game and then play the DLC this summer, or if, Co, what do you think? Or both of you, because I think Zeke also played that. Should I wait for the DLC, or should I just jump in immediately after finishing the main game of Witcher?
It all depends on how you're feeling. Are you still really enjoying? No. I'm serious. Like, are you really enjoying the playthrough? Are you attached and into it? Like, DLCs for Witcher 3 are really, really good. There's a huge amount of content. And if you're still having fun, I'd say just go right into them. But if it's the kind of thing where if you're kind of like a little bit running out of steam, you may want to put a little bit of a buffer into them because both Heart of Stone and Blood and Wine are large.
Yeah.
They will take you, especially I've been watching you play. You're playing pretty thoroughly. I'm proud of you. They will
Somewhat.
take you a little bit of time.
Look, I have 9,000 weight limit. Okay. I have to hit 9,000. I'm at 600 right now. And I've been looting every chest.
Wait a
every
minute.
box.
You're at 600 out of 9,000?
Yes. I have a long way to go. I've been looting almost
So
everything.
you gotta start picking up people, houses.
I need to put some people in the backpack. I really do. I walk up to people and they're like, we got to take your sword for this quest. And then I hand like 600 swords over and they're like, thanks. I have to get those back when I leave.
I see you just like shooting them out like the Borderlands glitch.
Yeah.
Like where they
I
just
look
shoot
like a
out the
loot pinata
guns.
when I die.
Yeah.
100%. Real quick before we go, we wanted to touch on this. I don't know if it's going to be next episode, but it will be somewhere in the future. We're going to start doing some ads on the show. If you listen to a bunch of different podcasts out there, pretty much any major podcast, they'll do like an ad read during their break. We're going to try some of that stuff out. So it won't impact the show. We're not going to, in the middle of a
Just the
segment
time
or
that we
anything.
normally would be dead air.
Yeah. So basically, it won't be running ads on Twitch. You'll just hear us talking about different sponsors and stuff like that. The cool thing is that we have kind of free reign over what we can say as long as we hit a couple of different like bullet points about the products or the services or whatever it is. So we'll try to make them fun. We'll try to make them enjoyable.
Blah 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 brand. Blah 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 buy it. Blah 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 link. Have a good day. Bye.
Pretty much, yeah. We'll try some different things and try to have some fun with it. But we just wanted to give you guys a heads up for that stuff because it probably will be happening. I don't know, maybe next week, maybe the week after that, maybe even a month from now. But it will eventually occur. And it's kind of
full acted out skits in costume.
it's a little outside the budget right now. But the nice thing is that we're not locked in. It is a test thing to see if you guys respond well to it, and if we respond well to it, if we enjoy doing it. So if we don't like it, then we won't do it anymore. But if we do, it'll stick around. It'll only be in breaks. It'll only probably be before the show and during the break point during the show, and then at the end of the show. So cool. If you guys have questions or anything about that, feel free to tweet us or drop comments in our chat during our streams, and we'll talk about it. So that's that.
Don't forget to follow at Drop Frame.
Yeah, twitter.com/dropframes for that. We're out. We'll see you guys next week. Me and Core streaming right after this. Zeke will be live in 2 hours playing some indie stuff. We're getting ready for indie stuff, so make sure to check all of our streams out. We're out. Have a good rest of your week if we don't see you. Bye-bye.